Now, if you're watching this video, let me guess, you want a dream home in Naples, maybe not even a dream home, maybe an investment home in Naples, and you want to get the best deal possible. That's very understandable, and quite frankly, that's what everybody is looking to do, but very few understand where to find those deals. And in this video, we are going to break down where you can find the best deals in Naples, how to get the best deal, how to negotiate on market, off market. We're going to explore everything. Let's jump right into it. Now, my name is Brad Dohak. I am the team leader of Gulf Point here in Southwest Florida. Been doing this real estate thing for 20 plus years. I have seen some amazing deals be able to be, we'll call it, scored in the market. And this is going to be a breakdown of where I've seen those best possible deals. So first of all, let's talk about on market. This is the most obvious. This is, properties that are listed in the multiple listing service. And, everybody has access to those essentially. But let's talk about the framework of how this actually works. When a property comes on the market for sale, it is new. It is exciting, and that is when the sellers have the best opportunity to get the most amount of money for their property. So when you are looking for a great deal, the brand new listing that just came on the market tends to not be the best deal unless somebody incorrectly priced the property. But if they incorrectly price the property, say way below market value, then likely they would have multiple offers, even given the fact that we're in a buyer's market today. If we go back to the years of 2021, 2022, when there was incredible amount of demand at that stage, didn't matter if it was new on the market, older on the market, things were just going above market pricing. Now that we have significantly more inventory and it's taking longer for properties to sell, there are actually some very good properties that just got overlooked when they came on the market. And what happens is, as days on market continue to increase, then the likelihood that you're able to get a better deal increases as well. And the seller's likelihood of accepting less, it's likely going to be the case. And so how do you go about this? Well, here's the deal. We have the ability to search for properties that are on the market for a period of time. So in the MLS, if we want to do a search for, say, properties that have been on the market for beyond the average days on market, which right now in our market is about 70 days on market. So if we say, hey, I only want to see the properties that are over 100 days on the market. Now, the properties that are over 100 days on market, chances are they may have something going on with them. Number one, they may need some repairs. Number two, maybe the seller is unrealistic and not willing to come down. But unless we explore that, we may not know. Those hidden gems may be in plain sight for us, and that's an opportunity that you absolutely should explore. Now, also, here's what we want to talk about of properties on the MLS. If we're looking at newer construction in the area, a lot of the builders pump a lot of money into the advertising and the marketing of those new construction developments. They have a vested interest in getting them sold. That makes logical sense. But here's the deal. What happens is a lot of the established neighborhoods don't get all of that marketing. They don't get all of the eyeballs. And so it's really important to partner with a great real estate agent that knows the different neighborhoods, understands geographically, hey, this is an area that has long-term potential of asset growth, asset appreciation, and can help guide you from that perspective. The other thing that's happened in our market is some of the properties that are, generally speaking, it's only happened to properties that are a little older. Maybe they flooded during Hurricane Ian or Milton or Helene, and those tend to be really great opportunities. Obviously, those come with a portion of risk, right? Is that going to happen again? And that's something that you have to be able to justify on your own to say, hey, this is such a good deal, it's worth me investing in. Or we've also seen people who are buying those types of properties, scraping the land and building a new construction property that meets today's current standards from a flood and hurricane protection perspective. And so don't sleep on those deals. Those are some very good deals that do exist out there. One other segment of the market, so let's talk about this. Mid-rise and high high-rise condos have gone through a tumultuous past few years in real estate, really in the entire state of Florida. And here's what happened. We had the tower collapse on the East Coast, and after that, rightfully so, we said, hey, we've really got to look at these buildings and create inspections and make sure that they're up to date as far as all the safety and structural integrity of the buildings, etc. And oh, by the way, all of the buildings have to have proper reserves in place. And so this, compiled with some of the storms that happened, created a really challenging situation for those mid-rise and high-rise condos, so much so that the demand almost went away completely. People are like, I don't want to have any special assessments. I don't want to pay out a $50,000 to $60,000 special assessment. And the insurance has gotten more expensive in those buildings because generally they're coastal, etc., etc. Well, here's what happened. Prices have come down significantly in the mid-rise and high-rise condo market. And these properties, they're in the best locations. They're typically lining the beachfront, and for people who want to be in Florida, you want to be on the beach, now is an opportunity where prices have come down so much. The majority of these buildings have been through a significant amount of those special assessments. They understand what's going on with the buildings. They've made the necessary repairs, and so there's a pretty darn good opportunity to get in that condo market at a much lower price point than it used to have, without the substantial risk of, the crazy special assessments that we saw, because we're already aware of everything that's going on with the building. So don't sleep on condos for the future. Now that we've talked about a lot of the on market, let's talk about off market. So here is the situation here. Off-market properties absolutely do exist. We'll talk about the list that we have. We speak with people on a daily basis who perhaps aren't ready to make a move right now, and they don't want to go through the effort of putting their property on the market, but they tell us, hey, by the way, if you did come across somebody who is looking for a property like mine, I'd be interested to show it to them, and maybe that is a possibility. It's not a true pocket listing per se. There's no actual agreement that's in place there, but they are willing to have a conversation if somebody's interested in that particular property. And so we have a large database of those types of properties where the sellers weren't ready to actually list the market for sale, but they were open to a conversation. So if you're looking for a specific type of property, that's an amazing resource to be able to tap into, is some of that off market. Couple that with the fact that we're able to look at all of the properties that are expired. These are the ones that were on the market, then they expired off of the market, as well as the terminated listings. And we can go back in time and reach out to those particular owners to say, hey, would you consider selling? And it's a great way to be able to find off-market properties. The other aspect of all of this is that we have other relationships that exist, and this is where it's very important to partner with a seasoned, great real estate agent. If it's not us, find somebody else who's seasoned as well. That's fine too, but we want to make sure that you're well represented, because what happens is we also have relationships with a lot of different wholesalers, and wholesalers tend to get some of the best deals out there because they go out and they find the homeowners who are willing to sell at a discount so that they can sell quickly, they can get cash, and they can move on with their life. There's a time and a place for that type of a scenario where somebody's like, maximizing my dollar isn't that important, but I need to get money out of the property and I want to move on quickly, and I don't want to have to go through fixing it up or showings or all of those types of things that exist there. And so this wholesaler network, what they do is they provide us opportunities for investors to say, hey, this is a property that is not on market, that's below the average market price. Are you, or do you have anybody who's interested in this particular property? I have personally done a significant amount of these wholesale deals. The wholesaler makes a fee out of this, and if it makes financial sense, rock and roll. They found it, they deserve that particular fee, and then you can purchase that property and move on. Here's the challenge with some of those wholesale properties is that you can't go through your typical inspections usually before you have to sign the assignment or put down a deposit. So you have to do as much due diligence and research on the property ahead of time before you actually lock that in. So I've purchased some in the past where we didn't know this going into it, but it ended up needing to be replumbed. And so, you know, there's money in there that you've got to account for, so for any surprises that could come up when you don't have the time to do the typical due diligence that you would for an on-market or a typical sale. So this is a really good framework for some amazing opportunities that do exist in the marketplace. If you'd like to tap into some of those resources, reach out. Me and my team would be honored and blessed to be able to work with you to be able to make those Naples dreams come true. And as always, if you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, that really helps the YouTube algorithm provide the video out to more people so that we can make more videos like this for you. Have a blessed day, and thanks for watching.